Annie Bojo. Welcome to the Daily Director's Q&A with award-winning filmmaker Mark Fusing Roseback. Here with us to talk about his sci-fi feature Akornatsinniittut, Among Us, the Masked Men, which is a sequel to his first feature film, Akornatsinniittut Nunani, Among Us, the Land of the Shadows. I'm trying my best there, so Mark will be able to do that better. And that film was released back in 2017, I believe. But yeah, hi, my name is Caitlin Tomaselli, program coordinator at imagineNATIVE. I have long brown hair and brown eyes. I'm wearing a green imagineNATIVE sweater with glyphs down the sleeve, and I have a black turtleneck underneath. And I'm in front of a white wall with pictures behind me. And I'm tuning in from the imagineNATIVE office, which is located on the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe, Haudenosaunee, Huron-Wendat, and the Mississaugas of the Credit. Today, I am happy to welcome Inuk filmmaker Mark Fusing Roseback. Welcome. and how are you, Mark?
I'm good. I'm pretty good.
Amazing. Well, I'd like to invite you to introduce yourself. Let us know who you are and where you're tuning in from.
Yeah, my name is Mark Fusing Roseback, and I'm from Greenland, from Ilulissat. Yeah, I'm here in Nuuk right now. I'm filming from my office. Yeah.
Love it. See a little bit of your office and behind the scenes. Well, first of all, this film was so well done and it's beautifully shot, and it's great to see like that. There's this a great fluid to the original movie, the first movie. So it's like a really great transition. And especially about fighting your own fears and not losing oneself, and that idea around that's expressed throughout the film. Maybe we can start with the beginning and how you were able to take us through the first film to the sequel.
Yeah, I didn't get that. Get your question.
Okay, so I was just wondering if you can take us through how your first film rolls into the sequel.
Yeah, the sequel starts 2 years after the first one ended, and we didn't see how they trained together. So we see our two main characters, my character Mio, and my best friend's character Nugape, and we follow them through their training process and just follow them through the movie. Yeah.
Love it. And then there's like this idea of Indigenous SciFi. Can you talk us through like how you were able to distinguish that within your films and how you were able to create that in its form of Indigenous SciFi from its Western counterpart?
Yeah, I am inspired by Western fantasy films, but I try to make it more indigenous by using like powers that could fit our stories and other culture things. And so this fantasy sci-fi is very inspired by video games, Japanese video games, and anime. I thought it fits that kind of genre, or many of the elements from anime and Nintendo, Zelda video games, storytelling. So I also used many stories, or I was inspired by many of our storytelling from our culture. So yeah.
That's like I see that a lot too, is like the anime and like being able to see those moments within the film. It's very well done. And then like speaking about like the Greenlandic traditions and the culture and the language. So like your film is in Greenlandic and it's shot on the beautiful lands of Greenland. And then there's these beautiful moments of communication with the spirit world and the shadow world. Can we speak about the role of language and the Greenlandic culture in your films?
Yeah, it was really important for me to use our own language for this film, especially with the older characters. They speak more, how do I say it, more correct Greenlandic, and the younger characters speak more modern. We tend to borrow a lot of words from Danish words and then just translate them directly to Greenlandic. So I try to capture that more correct Greenlandic and then modern Greenlandic. So yeah, it was really important for me to use our own language in that film.
Yeah, that's very beautiful. Especially like when you think about the generational aspect of language and how, like you said, that there's the younger generation has different slangs, I guess, within how that language carries on and how it can get passed forward in a different sense. It moves. There's always this fluid movement to language. So it's like pretty cool that you're able to translate that into your film.
Yeah.
And like, again, like this is such a beautiful film. Like, how was it filming on your homeland? What was your favorite thing about that process?
My favorite thing is filming amongst the big icebergs.
Mhm.
it, it's a very beautiful place, and it's so calming, relaxing.
Mhm.
So the whole duration of the filmmaking or shooting or production, it felt like a vacation. um, so my favorite part is when we film outside. Uh, it's so relaxing, and um, uh, when we filmed the first one, it was during winter in February. It was the coldest year, um, coldest month in Greenland or in Inuit. So I promised myself not to film again during the winter. So this time we shot the whole film during the summer. So we had a lot of fun. Yeah, it felt like a vacation.
That's nice to see in that sense too. um, how long was the process? Like, what was the span? What was the production like for the creation of this?
The production part was only 1 month.
Mhm.
Um, we were taking it slow. We weren't busy, but it took 1 month to shoot it all, and then some additional scenes shot here in Nuuk. Um, but the whole production took 2 years, um, especially when I'm doing so much of the post-production by myself. I had some help, but uh, I mostly did almost everything in that movie. So yeah, it took 2 years to finish it.
You wear a lot of hats, I've noticed. Like you're also doing the animations, right? You have the production company, Furo's Image, and you're also like the main actor with your best friends. You
Oops.
Like, how do you handle all the hats?
Um, it's a very messy progress. Um, how do I wear all the hats? I don't have a specific workflow doing all the stuff, especially during the post-production. But when it comes to pre-production and production, I do uh, I do it more cleanly, or what do you say? um, but I do like having all those different hats during the filmmaking. It's one of the best parts for me to do all of those uh, jobs or parts. Um, yeah, that's also why I became a filmmaker, so I could do all those different things, directing, acting, visual effects, music, and all those stuff.
And how would you say your character is to yourself? Like, how similar would you say you are to your character? And like, what's it like writing for your own role? And what's it like directing yourself?
Yeah, my character is not so different from me. Um, the way I wrote those characters is, especially my character and my best friend's character, it's based on our own relationship, our best friend relationship. And so I wrote a lot of scenes based on our real life experiences, especially in the first one, imagineNATIVE. Also, the rest of the cast, I wrote the parts especially for them. Um, in the first one, I wrote all the characters based on myself, but during the first production, I got to learn each of the cast member, and then I used that to write the characters in the next one, so they fit more the characters. So yeah.
So you're working with your best friend here. Like, how did you and your best friend meet? What's this relationship like? And
Oh, we've been best friends since we were little. Um, so yeah, I don't remember when we
yeah.
met, but yeah, we've been best friends for a very long time. So we know each other very well.
That must be so much fun to work with your best friend in this type of setting as well. Like your vacation, basically. You're with your best friend on vacation while you're
Yeah.
creating this beautiful film. So we actually got a question from the audience. So I'll just read it out loud. So what Zoe is saying is there is a playful element to these films, like when your character runs yelling OMG in the background after an intense scene. How do you decide when to use humor in a scene? Is it all scripted, or is some of this playfulness spontaneous?
Everything is scripted. We rarely improvise, but we, well, I can remember some of the parts we improvised, but most of the comedic moments are scripted. Um, so how I decide to use them and when to use them is, um, I don't really know, but um, yeah, it's mostly to balance the heavier scenes or dialogue scenes and then scary scenes. It's also to let the audience breathe a little, and make them more comfortable watching, and then continue more dramatic scenes or story, what do you call it? Plot-driven scenes. Yeah.
Very nice. Yeah, there's a nice light amount of humor within the whole film, but it really does take you to like a nice balanced feeling, especially with like the I forget the specific part, but like there's definitely like a really nice light balance to that for sure in the film, and you can see that throughout the whole thing. There's like that. You can just tell that you're best friends, to be honest. Like you and the best friend, the character there. But yeah, so what was your path into Indigenous sci-fi and as well animations?
My path. But can you phrase it differently? I didn't quite understand it.
So what was your path into Indigenous sci-fi? And how did you get also into animations within that?
Yeah. First, I just started researching our culture and old storytellings, or old stories, and then I wanted to make films about them. But it started as all fiction. But I wanted to um, put our own stories into my fictional stories, and then I came in contact with Benning Lin Jensen, who is my girlfriend. She researches our culture, and especially the Sunni tattoos, facial tattoos, and the uh, stories behind them, and the culture with all of our facial tattoos and other tattoos. So she co-wrote some of the parts in the movie, also in the first one. So I could uh, add some cultural, uh, how do you say it? Yeah, add some of our culture to the fictional story. Um, yeah, and then to animation, I started way back then. I think I started when I was 10, with playing with uh, computers and visual effects and all those stuff. So um, yeah, yeah,
And you're self-taught too, which is super cool. So like with like being self-taught, like how did you get into that? Was it like animation programs? Like how did you find the programs that will help you become better and better, and then with the YouTube videos and yeah, what's your journey within that?
yeah. It all started with one picture with my dad. My dad used to take pictures of us and make us twins, or make us uh, more than two five clones. And then he used to make lightsabers, like in still pictures. He drew lightsabers, and that's where my interest for visual effects started. Um, so we grew up with Star Wars, Harry Potter, and Lord of the Rings, and all those fantasy movies. So I wanted to make those kind of movies. And then my dad taught me how to use a Photoshop kind of program. So my dad used to give me all those programs to play with. So I didn't get the usual toys as a kid. I used to get programs uh, on my birthday or Christmas. So yeah, that's where it all started. Yeah.
That's so sweet. And do you have any advice while we're on this topic? Do you have any advice for future self-taught artists?
Yeah. I think it is possible to teach yourself in whatever uh, things you want to learn, especially now when we have so many tutorials or videos about how to make stuff. So um, I never had education on filmmaking, but I watch a lot of YouTube videos on YouTube, and also just play around with whatever I want to do. So many of the things I can make, like music, visual effects, cinematography, I just learn what I just learn enough to make my own. So um, yeah.
Thank you for those words. So we actually have some questions from the audience. So questions from Angela. Hi, Mark. While exploring how Indigenous people will appear in future worlds through science fiction, what do you see or hope to be the future of indigeneity?
We are getting more and more how do I like to say it? Don't know how to answer that. But indigenous filmmakers are getting bigger and bigger, and we are getting more noticed everywhere, especially when there are a few indigenous filmmakers or artists that are going to um, Hollywood or other international productions. So I think the future for indigenous filmmakers and other artists is very bright. So yeah.
I like that. The future is bright. The future is big. And then we have a question from Mel. So is it tricky to write time traveling that makes sense? And like, how did you approach this specific mechanic? There's a lot of time traveling within the film.
I think time travel is very, it can be tricky, but it can also be very simple when you just uh, have a lot of freedom writing the story. Um, so it's easier when you can use a paper to draw a timeline where everything happens when um, it was tricky at first. It's tricky. The trickiest part is the start, I think. But when you start, it becomes more and more clear. So the story here is not finished yet. There will be a third one. So I'm still figuring out what to do with how to continue this story. So I'm making stuff up as I'm going. So
Well, keep on doing it. Yeah,
yeah.
that was my next question. I was gonna say with the big reveal at the end of the movie. I was like, is there gonna be a third one? And I'm glad that you are confirming that there's gonna be a third one. And when do we expect to see more of that? You think like the next 2 years, next year?
I think I hope in a couple of years.
Mhm.
I am still writing ideas for the third one. But yeah, I hope it won't be too long before we start.
Well, I'm definitely looking forward to it. I'll keep my eyes open. And quickly here, I kind of want to talk about your production company, Pharaoh's Image,
Mhm.
and what got you to start that. So maybe you can just share a little more about your production company.
Yeah, I started, uh, when was it? Maybe 5 years ago, I think. Don't remember when, but um, I I'm alone, mostly alone in my production, but we work with film and commercials and other small projects. We mostly work with uh, feature films or short films. Then um, hmm, we're getting more and more work, not only in Greenland, but also in Finland. We're working with Sami Film Institute now with a short film, and then we have more plans to work more internationally. Um, yeah, but with post-production work like VFX or composing music. Um, so yeah, it's a very creative uh, production company where we have so much freedom to do whatever we can or want. Yeah.
That's amazing. It must be so rewarding to be able to have that space to create and be free and be able to do what you want to do. Yeah, that's beautiful. But there's also another question, one last question from the audience. So it's going back to the character. So will Kiinappalik become a sympathetic character?
Um, he is a sympathetic character, but he is controlled by a dark force. So we will see more of his light side in the next. So yeah,
Right.
I don't want to give
Not
away
too
too
much.
much.
Yeah. Gotta wait and see. I'm excited to see that growth there. And I guess going to characters as well, like how was that that evolving from the first film to the second film with the character growth, and how was that to keep it um I guess like fluid? Like how was that growth within your writing?
Yeah. Uh, it's it wasn't a challenge to keep them. Um, Although the characters have changed more than the first one, there are more, or the main character is more, uh, how do we say it, sad, or um, we do see his uh, dramas and fears, and especially in this one, I wanted to show all the characters and their fears or hmm, yeah, I don't really know how to answer that,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Like even in the beginning of the film that we have premiering at the festival, like I like that uh, your best friend there, that they were able to kind of understand their fear in the end, because in the beginning when your character asks like, what is your fear, and they're like, I don't know. And you're like, you gotta fear something. I feel like even that was a nice growth in the and discovery and understanding of where this can go next. So like,
Yeah.
whoa, I'm excited to see this prequel. What's gonna happen next? Oh my gosh. Well, it's getting to the halfway mark there, so I'm just gonna wrap this up, I think. I want to say like thank you so much, Mark, and this film is really, it's really cool. We don't have anything else like this in the festival. It's sci-fi, Indigenous sci-fi. There's animations. It's the beautiful landscapes of Greenland. So like we really are honored to have you and your work here at this festival. But are there any last words that you would like to provide with the audience?
Um, Not really. I hope you will follow or see the third one too.
Mhm.
But yeah, I want to just say thank you for watching the film. Um, so yeah, it's a very big job to make a feature film, especially a fantasy feature film filled with visual effects and so yeah, thank you for watching my movie.
And you have 48 hours to watch it, so go watch it if you haven't yet. It's going to be on the Watch platform. And then also a reminder that you got to go vote for your Audience Choice Award for both the features, both shorts. So get voting, go vote as many times as you want. And if you have any questions about how to vote and where to vote, if you just go to our festival.imagineNATIVE website, there is the help chat line on the bottom right corner, and they're lovely. Our wonderful volunteers are there to speedily answer any questions and solve those problems. So yeah, thank you, Mark, for joining. Thank you all for coming, and I wish you all a beautiful last day. And I'm excited to see everyone at the awards gala today. So, Bama P. Thank you, Mark.
Bye.